Hello students. In this video, we have an enrichment, and we've skipped quite a few pages in the book, and I'm doing it based on what I feel like is really relevant as far as percents are concerned. But on page 29, there in our fluency, there's an enrichment, and these are really complicated problems. So I'm going to model, in this first example, there are three problems, and I'm going to model the first one here, and I'm going to model the last one. And these are really like multi-step percent problems where there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and it's be difficult to kind of keep it organized. So let's go ahead and get started here. And it's for those of you that really want a challenge for some of the problems that have been pretty easy for you. All right. Robbie owns 15% more than Rebecca. Rebecca owns 10% more than Joshua. All right. If Rebecca owns 220 movies, how many movies do Robbie and Joshua each have? All right. So what you have to look at is you have to look at this problem really as two separate problems. And I'm also going to use the tape diagrams because whenever you have problems, the more complicated they are, the tape diagrams can kind of help you figure this out. So I'm going to start with this first statement about Robbie owns 15% more than Rebecca. So I'm going to draw a tape diagram. So the whole amount, the original 100%, is going to be what Rebecca, R-E-B. Okay, I'm going to add 15% because Robbie owns 15% more. 15% more. So this is 100% here, and this is going to be 15%. All right. So that means that Rebecca is going to be the 100%, and Robbie is going to be 100 plus 15%. So you've got Robbie, and I'm also going to lay this out here, and Rebecca. So Robbie's going to be the 115. Rebecca's going to be the 100. All right. Now, the piece of information that we need is we need to find what Robbie has. So Rebecca, we know from later in the problem that she has 220. So 220 goes on the bottom. The x would go on the top. Save you a little bit of math because I know this piece is going to be the easy part. So right now, Robbie is $253. All right. So that's only part of it. All right. So now the next piece. Now I'm going to look at the second part of this. Rebecca owns 10% more than Joshua. So I'm going to make another tape diagram for a separate problem. All right. And Rebecca owns 10% more than Joshua. So now what's changed in the problem is that Rebecca is now the 100 plus the 10%. So Rebecca is now 110%. Okay? Joshua is the 100%. All right? So now I'm going to rewrite this as Rebecca on the top and Joshua on the bottom. Right? And Rebecca is the 110%. Joshua is the 100%, the original, or the whole, or whatever. And now what's different is that now the 220 that is Rebecca owns will now go on the top. So really what happened is this is two separate problems in one. So now if we put the x on the bottom, all right, this part, cross multiply, divide is smooth sailing, and you have Joshua with $200. All right. So in these multi-step, multi-layered percent problems, you really have to start and look at it as two separate problems. Right? A lot of work there. All right. I'm going to skip the middle one. I'm going to go down to this one about Aiden's mom. And this problem is fairly involved. So Aiden's mom calculated that in a previous month, her family used 40% of their monthly income for gasoline, and 63% of that gasoline was consumed by the family's SUV. All right. If the family's SUV used $261.45 worth of gasoline last month, how much money was left after gasoline expenses? All right. So this is really, this is a big problem. And if you can get this one, then kudos. If you can do one of these without, you get it mostly right. So how I'm going to break this down is I'm going to break this down into two parts: income and gasoline. All right, and I'm going to make two separate tape diagrams for these. So I'm going to take diagram for income. In this one, 40% of the income is used for gasoline. That means 60% of this would be what's left over. All right. So watch carefully how this is going to work. All right. Now, as far as gasoline is concerned, all right, 63% of the gas is for the SUV. The other 37% is for the other car. Right? So now here's where you have to be careful in what they give you. All right? Clearly, this piece right here, this gasoline piece, will transfer over to here. So the 40% of the income will get split between these two. So now what I'm given is I'm given $261.45 is how much gasoline the SUV used. So I can now figure out what the total amount of gasoline usage is. So if I use a 63%, 261.45 over X. All right, and by solving this, I'll go ahead and do the math here because I know that's not going to be the problem. 415.63. Right? The 415.63 is going to be the total amount of gasoline. So now that goes here. Now see how this works. 415.63. All right, so I had to use this piece of it to figure out the rest of this piece. All right, I'm going to change colors here so you can kind of see what's going on. Now the question goes to here. Now that I've gotten the information I needed from this to work backwards, now I can figure out, I want to find out how much is left. Well, a couple different ways to do this. You could just set up a straight proportion here, but if you want to think about how we could figure out the whole amount. So now you've got the 415.63 is the 40% of the income that is used for gas. So 40%, okay, 415.63 over X, and this comes out to be 1,039.08. All right. Now, this is the whole thing. This number here that you're getting, that doesn't tell you how much is left over. That's the total amount, which means there is one additional step to this. So this is giving me how much income, this is our total income. So now I would take this and I'd subtract away how much is spent on gas. Okay, and that comes out to be $623.45. Right? So it's a very, very involved problem. And you can see it took me, almost 4 minutes just to do it on its own. Right? The other way you could have done this is you could have set a proportion up where you could do 40 over 415.63 and then do 60 over this. Not using really a percent, but using these this weighted part of it. And if you do this, you'll get this number right away. And you can try it if you want. So, all right. So from there, I want you to try, obviously the problem here in the middle. This problem here is going to be similar to this one, except maybe a little bit easier. So, all right. Good luck. These are good problems.